Good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, this is, what is it, 21st?
21st of May.
Yep, 21st, Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Welcome.
This is Meditation Reflections. And here we are, starting, trying to improve our setup and get quicker and better in solving technical difficulties.
So we're going to practice on this one just for a little while. Anyway, it was a wonderful meditation this morning, and I actually got a little extra confirmation of my meditation. I got a lot of information about synchronicities and how they work, and just as we were setting up, we had a double number in the time. It was technically 9/11, but
But that's not a double one.
no, but 1/1.
Interesting number. I've been seeing 9/11 a lot lately, and that is a marker for major change on the planet.
Usually, yes, it is. But what I'm referring to is any kind of synchronicity which you notice. And it's not so much the synchronicity, though, it's what you notice. So a lot of times when an art student came to me and said, okay, I want to figure out what I want to do tonight, and I would say, notice what you notice, because your mind will naturally be attracted to something, and you have to keep an awareness in your entire field around you, all the things you do during the day, the people you meet, to notice if anything stands out that was not deliberately meant to stand out, but was just for you, something specific and unusual. Now, this gets into the question of the believability of messages. If you're working as a psychic or a clairvoyant, and I happen to do what are called painted readings, so I do a painting for somebody, I make them make a random chance accident and I pull images out of it. The proof for me was that those random chance images wouldn't have been anything I would ever think about painting. You know, why would I paint a large turtle that was trying to be pulled by a moped? And it was just exactly the perfect message for that individual. So you kind of look at that kind of like, where in the world did that image come from? Or a perfectly round boat that was nearly impossible to steer, coming from a young woman who was trying to figure out what career she was going to. And a round boat is very hard to steer, and so it's a directional problem. So we spent a lot of time talking about notice what you notice with that young woman. Noticing what you notice can be absolutely anything, but it is, I'm pointing out to you, why in the world would you notice it right then at that time, and why would you notice other things happening in your life, except that there was some little extra there that you needed to give some thought to.
I think that's the key, is noticing what you notice at that time, because staying in the now, and say you're thinking about an issue or a problem or situation, whatever it is, and you happen to see something that seems totally unrelated, like something running across the road, or even a leaf falling from a tree at the perfect time of what you're thinking about, and tying to that to get the answer to your message. Because messages come in so many ways, and confirmations. Yes. They are just really synchronistic.
See, yeah, that is synchronicity. That's the other definition for, and it's also individual and personal to you, and it's the uniqueness and often the surprise that it's the further confirmation of why was that noticeable to me at that point. And I think you've got a very good point. It's connected to experiencing the now and being aware of now, and keeping your field of awareness much more active.
The more you stay in the now, the more synchronicities you'll notice.
That's true. Yeah. It's very, and just keeping out. And usually synchronicities are signaling something very positive. Again, it's a vibrational or an awareness shift, and that in itself is very important. So when you see a synchronicity, congratulate yourself.
Yeah.
You were in the now, and you know what you noticed.
Yeah. I don't know if you were aware of it. We had another guide join us this morning.
And we had some rearranging, which I thought was equally interesting.
Yeah, so I don't think we had a chair for him,
Oh, we'll fix that.
though. I don't know if it'll be on a permanent basis or if he was just of our trip to Australia, and this is going back a good number of years, at least, what, 15 years or more?
At least.
So,
We had an Aboriginal guide on that trip.
yeah, exactly, and he joined us this morning because I started thinking about him, and he showed up.
It's one of those interesting things. Why would your mind, on this particular morning, after a 15-year lapse, suddenly think
Animals are telepathic, and, well, actually, so is everyone, but we just don't know it yet.
Yes, we're going to work on that one, which is another issue we'll come back to later.
Anyway, on our trip, let me
Yeah.
give a brief description of what happened. I gave him the name Peppy. I don't know if his name is that or anything, but that's what I started calling him way back then. And anyway, he's very small, wiry, high energy, and loves life.
I remember the night Torres Straits, that member of that tribe who talked about his tribal experiences and danced and did some of
And
the...
we had a beautiful campfire. This was going into the evening, and
You'd spend a
through-
day building a
through the-
didgeridoo.
yeah, and I through the evening in the smoke is the first time I saw Peppy.
I actually got to get a glimpse of him at that same time too, so I could give a kind of confirmation. So it was a very positive experience.
So anyway, that's Peppy.
Yeah. So he showed up this morning. That's a good sign, actually.
Yeah.
A lot of times there's questions about can I see spirit or can I hear spirit, and that's part of an increasing of vibrational skills or so forth. Give yourself time and relax into it. They're here to help us. Also, the seeing of synchronicities and looking for that level of awareness of now is also part of the process of noticing what comes to you at this moment in time.
Yeah. So we'll sign off for now, and thanks for joining us, and we'll see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Blessings.
Blessings.